morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Okay, 2, 3, test 1, 2. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
All right, there we go. That's much better. It's a wonderful, sunny, bright morning here on Hump Day, Wednesday, here at 1 Million Cups. So we're grateful that all of you all came out today. We are asking for you to just sit back and enjoy yourself. We have two wonderful presenters, founders, who have brilliant ideas that they've come up with. And I know that this work, I've had several conversations with both of them. They are very passionate about the work that they're doing. And so just sit back, take a listen. We ask for you to be observant of their presentation and that you will provide some wonderful feedback for them, constructive feedback for them so that they can excel with their idea. 1 Million Cups is a program of the Kauffman Foundation, and we are an extension of that. So this is 1 Million Cups Tulsa. My name is Aaron Wiggum. I'm the program director at Tinto Capital. We have on our leadership team also Mitch Sims over here, who leads Big Tracks. And we have Kristen Towles on the leadership team. We have, help me out, Ethan Harkey, who is on our team as well. We have Tara Payne. There's also Talisha White and Sean McCroskey, who actually just got married this weekend for the second time in 2 years to the same wife. So he had a COVID attack the first wedding, and so he had to go and pivot. And so this is their second wedding in 2 years for the same couple. So salute to you, Sean, if you're watching from your honeymoon or second honeymoon. We asked that each of the presenters would make an ask of the audience, and that the audience would be diligent in how they are able to respond to that ask. And this is what I like to say, not a Shark Tank, it is a dolphin tank, where we all are entrepreneurs and we are in an ecosystem that is swimming in the same direction to help strengthen each other. So we ask that you would be constructive in your feedback, and that we would propel each other forward. Is that all right?
Yeah.
Yes, all right, good. So if you're ready to have a good time, I'm going to bring the first founder up. His name is Charles Johnson, and Swanson, excuse me. Charles Swanson, and he's bringing to us Concierge Tech.
Appreciate it. Thanks for that introduction, man. Swanson, like Swanson Foods. I'm going to make this a conversation, and a little bit about me is been in senior housing for 11 years, and I've seen the problems, solutions, and now we're going to help invent the future. So the 4 pillars of our business is convenience, connectivity, safety, and helping lower costs for senior housing operators. So what are some of the problems you all have noticed about senior housing, besides it's not desirable and you really want to avoid it like the plague as you get older? So tell me, I would like some feedback. What are some, you can yell out the answer if you need to.
Expensive.
Expensive? Yes.
Yeah.
Security?
Bedside manner.
Bedside manner? Yes. So these are some of the things we're definitely attacking, with indicating of early signs of symptoms like pneumonia, UTI, fall protection. We have a partnership with a company that provides sensors. So they're not invasive. They're similar to like a fire alarm, where you're not getting spied on, but it makes sure that you get help immediately. So I'm going to show you the interface, what the resident will see. So imagine you just got moved in, got your furniture in, and then boom, you get to deploy services right through your remote. Click on the Concierge Tech. You can immediately start ordering food, on-site or off-site. Start requesting services, a driver to go to the shopping mall or the doctor. You have activity calendar too that can connect you to on-site and off-site events and to small business owners. Another cool thing is you get to connect to your family, boom, right through your TV. Older adults spend more than 4 hours a day on the TV. So this is why we decided to help them deploy services right through the TV. And most of the time, they can't even hear you on these little small phones. It's always like, what? You know? So now on the TV, they can actually, hey, what's up? Are you gonna come pick me up? No. You know, those kind of things. So you have those conversations, you know? And so it's not too invasive. I'm gonna show you what the operator sees. Because most operators, we've noticed that it's becoming more of a resort style, no matter where you're at. And so with Concierge Tech, the operator sees a full scope of how to reach their particular resident. And now our culture is more of the individual. The individual is going to be important, but still zoom out to take care of the collective. And that's what we help with the operator by giving them data and new ways to customly serve the resident. Here's my team. They make the dream work. Ed here, he's been in senior housing for 30 years. We have pretty much throwing back matches every day, not even pillow fights. Sometimes I want to throw a shoe at him. And then we have Alina Ashley. Has experience with helping with women clinics and running them and operating them. And then Indigo Technologies, they've been our technology partner, and they're a game changer, and they're solid, and I've learned a lot from them. And Miles Dotson, I wasn't believing him, but I didn't see him in this crowd. He's new to the team's great. And then two customers we secured. And so we've been really focusing on one of them. It's called Scan Your Retirement Community. Love for you to check them out. I'm the administrator there, so I'm going to definitely plug that. And then number two is the Park Assisted Living. And we're really focusing on the customers there and making sure that we build a great platform for them so that we can take it to mom and pop operators or even Native American tribes that are really wanting to change and be a part of the wave of senior housing that is more desirable. Because 95% of seniors that are 65 and up do not want to live in your retirement communities. Here's our competition. Join Papa. They deploy caregivers on the mobile app. So if you download the mobile app, you can get a caregiver, but they're more focusing on older adults that live at home and not in a retirement community. And then TrueSense, they provide sensors similar to what we will be doing. And then what makes us different is Concierge Tech provides sensors, but not only just that, but we provide resident services and a portal for the resident, operator, and caregivers. So we really bring home an experience, and it's better to age in place in a community that you would want to live at, because it's more expensive if you try to age in place with new technology, because most of the time technology is expensive the first time it is adapted for new adapters. So it's easy for us to be that tech partner for senior housing operators so they can be competitive when they're mom and pop or family owned. Our market size, there's over 24,500 communities now. And there's a wave that's coming for the next 8 to 10 years. We're going to see about 76 million baby boomers enter the market. Our revenue model, we are going to be a marketplace, but we're also going to be able to deploy services and connect residents to the outside world and the small business owners that want to start serving older adults. So we're that bridge. And then we charge operators an upfront fee, and then also monthly subscriptions per resident. And the ask I have for you all is, if you all know any senior housing operators we would love introductions. If you also, number two, know any small real estate investors that would like to add this to their portfolio and start developing senior housing projects, because our centers work well with new construction. And then number three is if you know any technology companies like Club Automation that would be interested in being an integrated partner with us. So that's pretty much three asks I have.
Let's give CJ a hand. All right, so this is the moment we get into question and answer. Who wants to kick us off? In the back.
Hey, awesome job.
Thanks.
I was wondering, the slide about your first customers was really exciting. It sounds like you made a big impact on that first business. Can you talk about how the platform has increased their revenue? You all are charging monthly resident fees and things like that. How does the platform increase revenue for a senior facility?
Great question. He asked, what's your name?
Ben.
Ben asked, how does our platform increase the revenue for the senior housing operator? The goal is to decrease turnover. And a lot of times when the resident moves in, it's a new experience, and moving is very dramatic once they've been in their house for 20, 40 years. And so if you start building a relationship with them, and if you see on our platform, we have the resident, contact list, and then family. Because a lot of times, older adults, they have their own friends, and then they have family. And if you start building a whole support and where they begin having friendships that are really deep, they don't want to move for number one. Then number two is if you can provide convenience and then solve their problems with maintenance. Because since they're in your community, let's say the toilet doesn't flush and it takes 2 weeks to do that, it brings them unsafety. It brings insecurities where they don't feel like they're safe. So if you can really serve them well, they don't want to move because they have nothing else to worry about. But once you start having cracks in the walls or toilets not flushing, it becomes where they don't feel safe because they used to own a house or own their property. So they used to get those things done for them. So that's how we first do it in the first phase. And then long-term, we're going to have partnerships with like Yardi and other ways of really seeing the whole dynamic of resident management and then how financially and how we've saved you hours and manpower. And so that's why we're kind of growing into that. But that's a great question. That's the whole base of it. The basis right now is just preventing turnover and then scaling up to where we can calculate numbers like every hour, how much money you're saving on our platform.
Yeah, right, revenues. This question was about the revenues and how it impacts the revenues for the overall.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. We'll keep doing that. We're tracking what that investment. Yeah, Ed is he's good at shooting. I got you, Ed. He's a shark. He's a savage. So I have to figure out how. That's a great question. Hopefully I answered your question, Ben, but we can connect after. Next question. All right.
How much does it cost when a resident moves out and moves in?
So with Scandia,
Question here.
okay, question. So Mitchell asked, how much does it cost on average for an operator once a resident moves out? So with our numbers at Scandia, we spend about $16,000 to renovate a new, to make the unit new for a new resident. So it's like HDTV, we tear out things, everything. And then with our rent, it's about $24,000 a year. So it would take literally about 2 years to get into life. Operators are all the time when a resident moves out, has to go to assisted living or memory care, you have to still kind of get new carpet, new paint, and then wait on contractors to take till Jesus comes back to get something done. So, it gets really cost. So if you can really keep them aging in place and getting them caregivers or support or access to medication management, you really save long-term because after 3 to 4 years, they can really be an impact. And the longest resident I stayed at Scandia has been for 25 years. So imagine your return on investment if you really create a great environment.
You mentioned that you're looking for partnerships with other technology companies. Are there any particular types of services that you're looking to add to your offering?
Yeah, so our offering right now, a question is what technology companies are we looking for? We're definitely looking for companies that are big on automation and hardware. So companies that are really wanting to serve the senior with hardware that is not too invasive, but where it's a part of their lifestyle. And another one that's service driven on connecting us to small business owners that can provide great food, entertainment, or services additionally to residents. Because since they are on a set income, they still want to enjoy life and not feel like they're in a box or moving to die.
Sid?
So, I'm curious, I understand putting it into residential spaces because you have that support staff on site. But have you thought about like just using the sensor and the Concierge Tech platform for people who live at home and building out some kind of structure there?
Oh, yes, great question. The question was, have we thought about taking this to the consumer market instead of the senior housing operator market? And we have thought about it, but since it is highly expensive to get to the consumer market, and it's very interesting, I'm not against it, but we want to start with senior housing operators because I have some relationships there. And then number two is we really want to have development partners where we're working on new construction. And so with the park and some other contacts that we have in senior housing operators, we're part of those conversations where Concierge Tech can either be a general partner and a software provider on the back end. And so that's where we kind of want to, that's how we kind of positioned ourselves to be that way so that we can reach a collective group instead of focused on individuals. And then the liability is kind of low when you're dealing with operators instead of just directly to consumer. Yes.
You mentioned that older adults spend a lot of time in front of televisions, and you also mentioned how it's more profitable for a facility to have a customer there for a long time. Have you considered addressing like getting seniors moving around, or active, or physically fit as part of this services that you offer to increase their well-being and to increase the longevity of how long they can live in this facility?
The question was, have we thought about creating wellness and more about being a way to have residents stay fit and healthy? And that's the biggest thing of why I've noticed personally that if you have a resident that moves into your community and they are just watching TV and not getting out and being isolated and afraid of catching COVID or paralysis or anything that's scary, and you start having a world where the media starts making you focused on something that you can't control instead of going out and building relationships. And that's what our whole goal is for. Get residents out of the house, get them out of isolation, because you begin to decline cognitively and physically when you sit there in front of the TV constantly. So our goal is to have the TV be the bridge to get them off the couch and into great relationships if they want to. A lot of them are still introverts. I'm an introvert myself, but I still like to get out and transfer energy among human beings. Yes.
Can you talk more about what your hardware does?
Yes, our hardware, it does breathing detection, it does fall prevention, and also it's thermal. So it's been used by the military where you can kind of see the whole where it heats and where your body's cool. So it kind of brings a whole scope. So where there's a lot of heavy heat, maybe inflammation or all kinds of things, so you can kind of figure out what's going on. And with the sensors, they're still always updating, and that's why we partner with the company that is on the ground floor of chips. So they use a chip, but then they also use thermal. The chips that they've used have helped prevent milestones for breast cancer. And so we really are passionate about this company and seeing where they're going beyond just sensors. They're just kind of starting out with us where they're using the sensors as a way to get market and grow, but they have so many things on the back end that they want to do to change healthcare, but also senior housing.
Any other questions?
Have you considered adding any kind of location tracking, like for trusted family members type of thing to this?
Yeah, the question was, do we have any location tracking? And our partners do we have alerts and wearables that can track where the resident is. We're not big on GPS yet because we still don't want to be too invasive when it comes to seniors. We want them to roll into new tech. So we're reaching baby boomers and then millennials. And then as our world gets more, I call it the surveillance culture, then it becomes more comfortable. But you're talking about 89-year-olds, they're not going to be too up for you GPS and the location. So if they got a boyfriend, they may not want you to know that. Or a girlfriend, you get what I'm saying? So GPS location is great, but we don't want to be too invasive in the beginning. But that's a great question.
Going once.
Going twice.
So
To the hospital.
All right, let's give CJ a hand.
Thanks for the question. I love the question.
All right, so we have some coffee here. We're gonna take a break and you're gonna get some coffee. We'll bring up our second presenter, get them all checked out, and then we'll start in just about 5 minutes or so. All right? All right, thank you.
Thanks, girly. You hyped me up. Yes. Yep. Right. Inflated. Now I feel it. I'm about to order something from Chimera. The breakfast taco. I love it. Oh yeah. Your vegan ones are really good. Aw.
Slide through. I think more bump here, especially if you have that.
Oh, I know it.
He's just.
Yeah, okay. Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, good point. I need to check on that. I'll shoot him Yes. No name on it. Exactly. Good memory. It's kind of a rip off. One time you talk, it was $6. I need to. Amazing memory, Tara.
Well, I mean, there's another phone.
Yeah, nothing stop me.
Might be American.
American. That's not great. I should try that.
Likewise,
Last night for Tiffany's thing. For part of it, I stayed till like 6:30. No, it's okay. I did too. Until very long, the phone had to be set up, and then I remembered. Oh gosh! Did you send out an SOS? Well, I did, and then I got caught in a meeting, so I stayed in this area at all, which was very nice. But it was an easy setup. It wasn't like a whole thing.
I heard it said you sent it via Slack, right? You sent it to all of us?
No, I just sent it to friends. Yeah, no worries. It was actually a lot easier than we thought it was going to be.
Did she have a good time?
I think so. I left at 6:30 and there's like maybe 20 people here. I don't know how many she was expecting though.
You all, Jamie, Abby, Devin, the whole crew, for your hospitality. And we had this, our second presenter here who's going to come to us with another idea. And we ask for your feedback once again. I present to you Merton Huff with Most Eligible.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Heritage, 36 degrees north. I'm glad to be here today. A little nervous, but we're gonna get past that, right? Y'all a tough crowd. Well, I'm glad to be here. I want to talk. My name is Merton again, founder of Most Eligible. I'm originally from Florida. I've been in Tulsa about 10 years, and just excited to be here. And so, so what is Most Eligible? I'll get right into it. So our platform exists as a space where we stamp intentionality and mutual effort. The online dating scene, it's been a little, is 20 years ago, is definitely something different than it is now. We can all agree to that, right? So 20 years ago, online dating was kind of taboo. You met somebody online, and there was a stigma that came with it. And even now, there's still some sort of stigma where people are more apt to hide the fact that they met someone online because of some of the dangers and those things that come with it. So Most Eligible exists to create a space where we try to remove some more of that stigma and give people healthier ways to date online, where we give people healthier ways to interact. And so our goal is to be, who are we? We're a place where singles, those who desire long-term relationships, to connect in a more interactive and intentional way. So intentionality, authenticity, sincerity, that's our purpose. If you're not about that, you don't want to come to our site, right? And a lot of times what happens is people, and there's a lot of sites out there that, hey, why another dating site? There's sites for everything that you can think of when it comes to online dating, am I right? And so even the idea of why another site, because there's something that is out there for everyone, but a lot of people have shunned away, and we'll talk in a moment about the problem. A lot of people have shunned away, and of course in a pandemic, and thinking of safety and all those things. So we want to see, how can we create a space where people can be more interactive and have more of a community approach. I remember when I met my wife, I met her at a baccalaureate rehearsal we get ready at our church for baccalaureate service, and I met her through her sister. And so I realized like the power of community, and some of the best relationships that have really worked are probably introduced by someone else, right? Some of those long relationships that have worked really well, people you love and people you know, and that works. But the bigger thing for me was to be able to interact with her. What I did was what they call slid into the DM. So I sent her a message on social media, but she wasn't sure it was me. And so I said, well, I'm gonna text your sister, and I knew her sister. I said, I'm gonna text your sister and let her know that it's me talking to you so she can verify. So she had a way to kind of verify that it was me. And, but the interaction, and I believe the interaction was the biggest takeaway. And my wife made me work a little bit. She, some people were like, hey, in my dating process, some people wanted to jump right into a relationship. They wanted, to, hey, so we together or not? And so she made me wait. She was like, no, I'm not ready. And so going through that process made me realize everybody doesn't deserve you. Everybody doesn't deserve you. And if you settle for those who are not willing to make the same efforts that you make, because relationships take so much work, and all of the things that life will throw at you, then you're starting off with a kind of shaky foundation, right? So, and so we've done a survey with about 500 singles here in surrounding areas. We've reached out to singles ministries. We've reached out to a lot of organizations, and just a survey to kind of see what were the main problems that people had with online dating. One being misleading profiles, people not being who they say they are, communication barriers, scammers, of course, choice overload. So sometimes having so many options that you just feel like you're swiping left and right. I like this person, I skip this person. I like this person, I skip this person. And sometimes looking at too many things, that's what we realize, makes it harder for you to choose. It makes it harder for you to really enjoy the process because you're looking at so much. And it's almost like, well, if this doesn't work, I got some 10 more people in my inbox that I can respond to after this date is over. And so it becomes this vicious cycle. And a lot of dating sites really don't want you to get off the site because they don't make money, right? Did you know, and I'll share something, that insincere users. So these are some of our solutions. These are some of the things we're working on. Our authentication process. A lot of sites that are out now, you can create a profile with just an email address and a picture. That's it. All you gotta do is put your picture on there and an email address, and now you have a dating profile. And so we've created a SMS verification where you get a code to your phone, and you send that. We send a code to your phone, You enter that code on our site. Now there's a phone number attached to your profile, right? And so that makes it a little little bit more of a commitment. It's a little bit more work. And so that's what we're talking about here is the effort that it takes. And so having a photo verification where we give you a pose, you take a picture with this pose, and so there's several different verification or authentication measures that we put in place to help. Communication ease. A couple things that we have that will be pretty amazing. Video introductions, which will allow people to get away from the static profile pictures, catfishing, posting a picture that's 10 or 15 years old. There's a way to upload a video. And when you upload this video, it has to be a current video. And it may be a boomerang video. It may be of you telling a joke or a fun fact about yourself. So it creates a space where people can, there's another verification measure. And then we have what we call voice live. So voice live is where you can have a voice call within the platform, a video chat date within the platform. You don't have to give out your Facebook or your phone number in order to have it. So that creates a boundary and a safe space for this to exist. We also have what we call a billboard. So we've created a billboard for each of our users. So imagine you're a single person and you go and you see your face on a billboard, Tulsa's most eligible bachelor. So we created this billboard, and it's going to be fun. It creates another interactive way, and I'll show you how this works. But it creates a space where you can share videos, where you can share memes and photos, and have discussion with other people about those things. So maybe a relationship conversation, maybe a talk show. It creates a space where people can go and post something on their billboard, and others can come and interact with you, give you comments. And so it doesn't go from me swiping to jumping in your instant messenger, sending you a message. And we haven't had any other interaction. It creates more of a community. And so that's our goal. The next thing, social community. We're working on relationship tips, virtual coach, virtual relationship coaching, I'm sorry. So that there's a space that when you feel like you've reached a milestone and you're trying to figure out, how do I do this? How do I do this well? You have a relationship coach that's there to kind of walk you through that process virtually, okay? And then we have what we call a user authenticity rating. And that's going to help us with being able to say, was this person who they said they were? On a scale from most eligible experience, there you can explore. We also have a game feature, a game called Either Or. It creates a space for a question we call questions that need answers game. And so it may ask you a question like, iPhone or Android? Pick one. You got to pick one, right? These are serious questions, right? So, so it's got some great things there. Are you introvert or extrovert? Morning person or night owl? It's really interactive. And so at the end of the game, it gives you a way to identify how many matches you got with that person. Is there a market for this? In our survey, when we asked if there were a new and fresh online dating option that connected thoughtful, intentional, and sincere people who value the importance of connection, would you consider joining? 72.2% said yes, 27.8% said maybe, 0% said no. So it lets us know people are looking for something different. This was just an initial interest survey. Of course, our competition will be sites like eHarmony and Match, those that are definitely into long-term, who have 40, 50, 60 million users. So there's got to be somebody there who's looking for something a little different. And sometimes the notion or idea to change anything, when you got 60 million people doing it, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And so how do we create a space or an atmosphere that gives some people something a little more interactive and different, most eligible? So we know that the numbers will come if the quality remains. Do you know many sites, this is my last thing, many sites are populated with fake profiles. Just want y'all to know that. So as part of my discovery with the company, dating software company, they offer 10, 20, 30, 50,000 fake profiles to populate your site because they say nobody wants to come into an empty room. And so this is what happens. And this goes back to that first slide. Why people get those fake profiles and those misleading things? Because nothing's been verified. So our goal is to, you grow with us. And so our focus will be to target those who are tired of the random swiping. We do have some costs here. Our marketing is probably our biggest cost. And personnel, so having some moderators and people to help us moderate the site, to move through, verifying profiles and pictures to make sure that we're able to do this well. And, dreams into reality, we've done the math. The membership will start out as a trial, and there's only a $20 membership. We don't believe that the value, that quality is in the cost, the quality is in the effort. quality is not in the cost, it's in the effort. So we wanted to make it affordable because there's so many free sites, and then there's sites that are up to $900 a month. So how can we find a balance in that? And so, there is a goal in that we would have a profit after the first year. Our goal is to launch in August, and we're excited about launching into that. And there's my family there. Like I said, I feel ultimately every person you meet has the power to take your life in a direction. And so I always say choose wisely. And so I have a passion about this. I've been a hairstylist for many years and worship pastor, so I've encountered a lot of people who do relationships and trying to figure out a way to do it well. And so hopefully, wherever life takes you, that you've got what you need. Thank you.
So one thing real quick, take a deep breath.
Y'all have me sweating up here.
Yeah, I know, I see. What's your ask for this community?
Oh, yeah, sorry. My ask is that that we're able to share this with any singles that we know so that they can help us through our beta process and go on and get 2 to 3 weeks of free membership and give us feedback on, hey, how is your interaction? How can we improve this and how can we make this even more user-friendly? So the website is called mosteligible.me, and I'll show you the site. I'm gonna get out of here because I'm nervous. So yeah, this is the interface here. You are eligible. Date with intention. We've created some kind of test profiles, and once people go in, they can. There's also a little wait list here that they can join, and this is just. And this is what will be great is getting people to join our wait list so that as soon as we're live, people can go on and kind of play with the site and get a little bit more interactive in that way. Yeah.
Okay. Mosteligible.me. Do we have any questions? Tara?
I want to say first, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Say she's proud. Thank you.
Also, so that whole questions that need to be answered, I just wanted to say, if that was something like, if I were to have been on dating sites, I would not have chosen my husband because he's Android and I'm iPhone. And it's a deal breaker.
That's a deal breaker. Android versus iPhone, that's a problem.
It's a debate all the time.
It's a communication problem. Relationships take communication.
They do.
Yeah.
So this is a great idea. So I have many single friends, male and female, that are very, eligible, intelligent, and they do have that. Like my one best friend is like, I'm getting off of, what is it? I can't remember the name of them. Anyway, one of the sites, she's like, I'm tired of it. Then she'll go back and I'm like, I thought you got off. She's like, well, I'm gonna get back on and try. And she's like, the same thing, she gets back off. So I think that this is really great. I also sent her the survey and she did take it. I think this is gonna be great for people who are looking for that intentionality because that does make a difference. So I just wanted to say that. Milestones, you said something about milestones. Is there a place within your app where people are going to be able to say, tell me about milestones again?
So she has a question about milestones, and our goal is, of course, there's a user authenticity rating feature, but there's also a feature to say, how's it going? There's a questions feature where you can actually check in and say, hey, this is where we are. We've met, we've done this, we've done that. And that's going to help us to kind of gauge where you are in your relationship. And as part of that milestone, we've been working with some restaurants even to have a most eligible section, if you will. And so working with like restaurants that are nationwide to help us, maybe the Cheesecake Factory, maybe certain restaurants, so that there's a specific area and that if you go to this restaurant, there's a discount that we give if you bet on our site and you go to this restaurant. So create some ways to celebrate your milestones with you. And also do videos, testimony videos.
Are the users, so let's say two people, what is it called whenever they connect in their house?
Match.
Two people match. Are they able to see each other's milestones? Like if one person says, oh, we met and we're doing great, they're not able to see the other person say, oh, we met, but it's not all that good.
No, your milestones are personal. Yes.
Okay.
We had one in the back.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a target timeline for having a customer on and off the site? Because inherently your purpose is to basically get them to find that person so that they no longer need the service. So what does that look like as far as how long it should take or you anticipate having them off?
I got you. Good. So the question was, is there a timeline for when we would want people to come on our site and leave our site? Of course, successfully, hopefully, right? Our goal is to encourage people as coaches to move at your own pace, but to make sure that you're doing the work, right? Because for some people, it may take 6 months. My wife, it took 18 months. Some people it's going to take longer than others. We also encourage them to video call and to voice call before you meet in real life, to kind of, that's, like I said, that's a safety measure to, enjoy some virtual dating. So that once you actually meet in person, you kind of work through some of those things. There's also a questions feature that allows people to have conversation starters. So we're using the game as conversation starters and the questions feature to just so you kind of get rid of that awkward first. Some people are like hermits. They don't, they're just, how do I approach this girl or this guy? And so creating a space where they're able to interact and ask healthy questions. So our goal is to tell them, do your work, because it takes work. Let's just say work. If you don't want to work, be single. It takes a little work. Y'all know anybody in a relationship in the room, it takes a little work. So, we don't want to give people the premise that it doesn't take work. Yes, ma'am.
So the whole idea is to get to density quickly, because otherwise you don't have a lot of profiles this way. So how are you going to get to that on this launch and have enough people on the site that it makes it worth it for the other people?
Exactly. So yeah, because of density. So the question is, because of density and not wanting to populate our site with fake profiles, how do we get real people in the room? And so that's our goal, is just, and it may not be August. Our goal is just to give us a hard date of August so that we are pushing in the right direction. Because we've done the surveys, and we want to create a platform most of all for people to meet and make sure that all the bones are in place. Because we know, we may have to tweak some things as it pertains to, this types of interaction. But our goal is to some video marketing, a lot of targeted ads to target people. I don't know if like most people who join dating sites join on Friday and Saturday evenings. When everybody's off work and you don't have anything to do for the weekend, and so making sure that we pay attention to those times and we can get 100, 1,000, 10,000 people in the room, and I believe we can. Then we will see some great things happen. Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry.
Just to follow up on that, because I saw what your budget was, and in your budget, I didn't see marketing.
Oh, I thought it was the top. I'm sorry.
It was it was the 137.
Yeah.
The bottom was 137,000.
Yeah. So
Right?
yeah.
Okay.
75,000, but I've gotten quotes on each end, and a lot of that is the ads, is the targeted ads. So, sorry about that. Was that an answer your question?
Right here and then one here.
Yeah, I have a couple. Have you considered narrowing a location focus to increase your perceived density? Like, oh, this is only in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, or only in New York City, whatever, to sort of pack everybody together and make it even better?
So the question was, have we considered narrowing our location, right? Target location for density purposes? Am I answering right? Yes, we have thought about that, and that's one of the main reasons we didn't do international, because places like eHarmony and Match are international, and that creates a whole nother layer when it comes to verification. But there is a feature on the site where those that desire can set their location, and so I didn't want it to just limit it to Tulsa or just Oklahoma per se. I said, okay, we can do this on a nationwide level, then we're able to let people set their location, and then they can look for options in other cities. And to me, that creates a space where it's not necessarily that it can be dense, but it may be kind of widely dense. And so maybe people in different states that are able to connect. My wife is from South America. So, I mean, I was blessed to, and I don't think anything wrong with international. We just didn't want to start there because verification and having that phone verification and those things, and it comes with so many other layers of security when you go international. But our goal is to be national and give people the option to search within a certain mile radius, and they can enter their city and look at people in their city. They can also change their city within their city. So. Yes, sir.
So 75,000 for marketing. And then question number one is, does that get you to your target density number? Have you defined a target density number? That's question number one.
Okay.
So 75,000, does that get you to target density? And then what's your marketing plan? Like, are we targeting Oklahoma first? Are we targeting Florida first? And or are those dollars going to be spread over 50 states,
right.
One state at a time, one city at a time?
Yes. So yeah, our goal is, of course, organic sharing. I believe that, and like I said, even just sharing a survey, I have a lot of pastor friends, a lot of singles groups. So targeting some of those organizations, but also, and our goal is to, in 75 is not a whole lot. I already know when it comes to marketing, we've had I've had quotes up to 160,000 just to start. And so our goal is just to try to be really resourceful as we can, because I believe, sites like this can sometimes sell itself. We talked about some mixers and things to, kind of get some more people in the room and then invite them to the site. Using local events, using party events to hand out brochures and things about the site as well. And so yeah, we do have a kind of more extensive marketing plan, Google Doc, but 75,000 is not a lot as it pertains to marketing. It's just kind of where we're starting. The beauty of a site is not having the overhead of a building and pushing tech costs, not having a lot of overhead fees. So working with what we got to get there.
And then where are you spending those dollars geographically?
Where?
Where?
Yeah, so it will be a spread. It will be a target to a certain age range, kind of nationwide to at least start. Yes.
One more. You're targeting intentionality and like doing the work to find the right partner.
Mm-hmm.
But as I know, and you probably do too, that's only the beginning of the work you have to do.
Right.
Have you considered either an extension, a separate site, or tie into some other businesses that could potentially carry your revenue past a committed relationship or marriage or something, and whatever is next for these people that are graduating from your site?
Okay, so let me make sure I'm clear on your question. So have we considered a second site that we own, or like a real referral to some other resources?
Any larger net to continue revenue from people who are done dating? Whether that's something that you run or a partnership.
So yeah, we're definitely open to partnerships. We have not, per se, if I'm answering your question right, we have not, I guess, fully fleshed that out. But I love that. I mean, like, if there was a what's next, it's like you said, relationships take intentionality and they take work. So if there was a space that that's a follow-up space or a space, yeah, I'm definitely open. I'm not sure, and I'd love to talk to you about it a little more after the seat. The ideas we have.
Yeah, I was going to say that's something great idea. I was thinking more of like a premarital counseling, moving that as a natural flow and transition into that next step, and then ongoing communication.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Or B2B, right? You begin to be a funnel for those premarital counselors, and you charge them for the leads that you're providing. So as they step, right, the B2C to the people, B2B to when they come out of the system, out of most eligible. That's a great idea. Yeah, let's make one.
Piggybacking off a previous question, have you sat down and calculated like your lifetime customer value? And then what does that customer acquisition cost that we estimate that to be? You don't have to give a number, I just want to see like the thought process.
When you say customer value, what do you mean?
So your objective, the product's objective is to get them on the platform and then off the platform in some period of time, right? How much revenue would you generate in that period of time?
From one person?
Sure.
That's something to think about. How much revenue would I generate from one person in the time, from the time that they enter the site until the time that they leave the site? Let me work on that.
And is that revenue greater than what it costs to actually get them on the platform in the first place?
Okay. Yeah, I got work to do. I got homework.
That's what this is for. Yes, that's what this is for. Anyone else? Right here? Yes.
So you talked a lot about how, I guess you're a pastor right now, and you know a lot of other pastors. Why did you decide to like broaden the market and not target it on, like, I'm guessing you're like a Christian denomination, and so why didn't you target it to just Christian?
Why didn't I?
Yeah.
Target it because I think that, I mean, I didn't want to make it about my religious beliefs or, my Christian values. I wanted to make sure that we are equal for everybody and that everybody has opportunities in whatever religion, whatever space that you're in, to have a space to do relationships the way you do relationships. And so That's the premise of it. I didn't want to, I mean, there's a Christian mingle, there's, there's sites, all that. My goal was the intentionality, the interaction more so than, Christian values. I have my own beliefs as it pertains to, what I love, I've learned and evolved. And, I've learned so much in that. So I didn't want to kind of reduce it to that, I guess. Does that make sense? The question was why, I'm sorry, I didn't ask the question. The question was, why did I just target, Christians or being a pastor and being in a space where I've connected with, other pastors and people who are Christian, that the basis or the premise of it be a Christian-based site. My goal is that it would be not a Christian-based site, but a site that has values that help foster healthy relationships. And whatever that looks like with people is what it looks like. Y'all doing that?
Any more questions? All right, thanks. Let's give her a hand, guys. We thank you all for coming out again this morning. Hope you enjoyed yourself. We will be back next month, the third Wednesday of next month for our next 1 Million Cups. We'll have 2 more wonderful speakers for you. Drive safe and have a wonderful week. All right.